he made a couple of my friends, some listeners, some money last time he came on with how he told you how to bet the Kentucky Derby. So he's coming back for the second leg, the Preakness. My boy Gino, what is up, my man? How you doing, dude?
Sometimes it's not always about who, it's about how, right? You can be
Yeah.
wrong, but maybe just have the right approach. That's one thing that you and I, why we get along. I think we try to find the best value that we can every time, right? We're not taking big numbers, or we're not laying huge juice on things. We're trying to find the best value. And I didn't have the winner in any way, but I think a lot of people might have been able to capitalize if they like the horses underneath, right? Oh,
My Alexa's going off. Alexa, stop. That's a little weird.
yeah.
Little impromptu. It was
Google,
kind of funny.
my Google gets a little wild every now and then.
It was kind of funny. Like the first time I went on your show, I was at my desk. I had all this stuff going out. Like I was ready to go. We were in it. I was given some breakdown, and my Alexa just started going off, and it went shut down.
And I'm sitting there going, "Who is this Joe?" Gee.
So this is my question: like how you told everyone to play this year? Excuse me, the Kentucky Derby this year is you said if you liked the horse, you played them to win, and then everyone underneath, and then vice versa. You played everybody, and then your horse. The horse you like, your number one fan in the world, Coach
Danny Boy.
That's what Danny Boy did, and Danny Boy, you paid for his Florida vacation, so again he tells me thank you. He's still in, I think, the son of a bitch, he's still in Florida right now, because he has a little break from work.
Drinks on Dan sometime soon. Jeez.
Sometimes. So here's the list right now. Only nine horses.
Yep. Short field. No Derby winner.
No Derby winner.
Yeah, he's not running.
Is with how you advise people to play the Derby, would you advise them to play the Preakness in the same way?
No, a little bit different, because the Derby is a race where there's just a lot more chaos. It's like it's a tournament where, it's like the first couple days of March Madness versus what happens deeper into March Madness. Like once you get into the Elite Eight and the Final Fours, usually the better teams win, right? The form holds truer there. I think it's sort of the same thing with the Preakness and the Belmont, because just in a regular race, there are a lot less crazy variables. The difference between a field of 9 and a field of 20 is stark, right? In a field of 20, right off the bat, half these horses are in trouble. They're bumping around. They're not where they want to be. They get stuck behind a horse. They get shuffled. In the field of 9, for the most part, everybody should be able to place themselves where they want. Now, how is it going to set up? I think there are a couple speed horses in here, but there probably are 3 or 4 horses on paper that I don't think really have a very strong chance to win this race. And I'd be pretty surprised if they were to win.
So let's just go down the field right now. Like you said, only 9. Simplification 6-1. What group is he in for you? Is he he can win it or nah?
It's funny because when we talked in the Kentucky Derby, I liked Mo Donegal, who was the number 1. I promise, if you're someone who's watching this and you don't know me, I promise I don't just stop at the 1 with my picks. It's not like a thing, but he to me feels like the horse in this race that's the most fun to bet to win if he is 5-1 or over. Okay. So the difference between horse racing and other sports is on offshore counts and stuff, you could probably lock in 6-1, or if you're playing with the exchange. But if the pools open up and he's less than 6-1, you're going to get whatever he goes off at. My value line for him would be 5. If he was 5-1 or over, I think that's a great price for a horse in here who just makes the most sense. I said there are probably 3 or 4 horses that I'm immediately going to eliminate. I just don't think they're good enough to compete. And then I'm looking at Epicenter, and we'll talk about him in a minute. I'm never going to bet a horse like Epicenter. That's just not the way that I play, ever. Yeah. I'll tell you, use him in your pick 4s or play him in your exactas and stuff, but I'll never come on here and tell you to bet the 6-5 favorite in a race. That's just, I will never do that. And it's I would never suggest to do that. So I don't like the filly. We'll talk about her again in a minute if you want. Secret Oath. I don't like the spot for her, which is sort of funny. I liked her in the Kentucky Oaks a lot. I liked her and Ness. They were sort of my top two, and nostalgic. I had them in a lot of in most of my exotics. But when I'm looking at the horses who feel like they're going to get a really good trip, that they're battle tested. The thing about the Preakness is it's a 2-week turnaround. A lot of it's very rare that most horses in this day and age run back in 2 weeks after they just raced. Usually 3 weeks, a month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks between races, 2 months, sometimes even more. Nowadays, the horses are a little bit more fragile than they've been before. What's nice about Simplification is he's already run 5 times this year, and he is run in every one of the big prep races down in Florida. He ran in the Mucho Macho Man. He ran in the Holy Bull. He won the Mucho Macho Man. He was second in the Holy Bull. He won the Fountain of Youth. He was third in the Florida Derby, and he was fourth in the Kentucky Derby. He ran really well in the Derby. He had a good trip. Wasn't quite as good as the top few, but he ran very, very well. And in a smaller field, I can just see him from the inside sitting like fourth, saving all the ground. You've got like early voting. You've got Armagnac in front of him and Epicenter, and he's just right behind them. And he gets a really good trip. And if he's good enough, I think he's going to loom up at the top of the lane, and we'll know. And if he's 5-1, he's worth it. Maybe he's not quite as good as Epicenter, but you're going to get a lot better of a price on him than you would on Epicenter. I think to me, I'm stacking him as the second most likely winner of the race. And so if his price is going to be better than that. So he's the horse to me that I target that looks like the most exciting horse to dive into and to bet to win in this race.
Now, you mentioned the horse that I was kind of liking, and I'm interested in your take. Early voting. Is he like...
Yeah, he's got a huge shot. He's got a legitimate shot to win. He will be... I think the way that like I'm playing this race is it looks like you've got 4 horses that are going to be sort of the ones that take a lot of the money, right? We got Epicenter, you've got Early Voting, Secret Oath, and then Simplification. I think it's going to be those 4 that will be all like 5-1-ish and below. And then everyone else will probably be 10 or 12-1 and above. So if you're playing any sort of exotics, exactas, trifectas, supers, if you're playing pick 3s and pick 4s and stuff like that, you probably don't want to just use all 4 of them, right? There's probably I think you pick and choose of that group. Who do you like the most? Who are you going to sort of take stands against? In Early Voting, I'm fine with. Completely fine with Early Voting. He's probably the fastest horse in the field. He should get the lead. He's really, really nice. And what's cool about him, they planned for this race all along.
Yeah.
They chose to run in this race and not go in the Kentucky Derby. And I will tell you this right now, he would not have won the Kentucky Derby the way that race was, because he is a fast horse early, and they were going really fast early. It was not going to set up for him. So now while all these other horses are coming back quickly, he's fresh. He hasn't run since April the 9th. He lost to Mo Donegal, who I liked in the Derby. Mo Donegal ran 5th. It wasn't as if Mo Donegal ran bad in the Derby. So he proved that he fits from his class. He fits with the rest of this group. You know, he kind of stacks up really well with them. So I have no problems with him. I wouldn't want to take lower than where he is right now. 3.5-1, 7-2. That's fine. I wouldn't want to take like 5-2 on him if he started getting bet.
So 5-2 would be no dice.
Yeah, that'd be about the line. 3-1 and over. I'm good with Early Voting.
So basically, because I'm a pick 5, I'm a pick 4, pick 6 player.
Yep.
You're telling me I'm better off between Simplification, Secret Oath, Early Voting, and Epicenter to take a stand against 1, maybe 2 of them?
I say you pick 2 to 3 of that group and then maybe 1 price if you're going to play this race. Or, you know, like, because the way that I'm going to do it is I like to, if I set myself up, I'm always going to have a race or two where I'm not using any of the favorites. There's always going to be that race in my sequence. That's just the way I'm going to build my tickets and stuff. So in this race, I'm okay with playing, probably your A, B, C, or your two. I'm okay with playing a couple of the short prices. And then the one of the next tier of horses that would be the next one that we could talk about is Creative Minister, the 2. If we're just moving down the line, he would be the most intriguing of the price horses for me that I actually think might be able to win this race, because he's only raced 3 times in each of from start 1 to start 2, start 2 to start 3. He showed a lot of improvement. And if he just takes a little step forward,
little step up,
based on his speed figures, he's progressing. If he continues to progress again, he's another horse who, well, he did run a couple weeks ago and he was really impressive. It's not like you were running in the Derby. It's a little bit different. So I'm of that next tier of horses, beyond the horses that are, going to be shorter than 10 to 1. I think he does actually have a legitimate chance to win. And then beyond him, I don't think the other horses in here can win the race. Maybe we could get an underneath from one of them, but like Fenwick is number 3. He's 50 to 1 in this race. I just can't make a case for him. He has one race that was okay, and that was on a racetrack at Tampa where it was kind of funky. Wet. It was sealed and it was wet, and he ran a big race that day. Other than that, he's not run anything that would be close to competing with this group.
Now, you mentioned you don't like Secret Oath here. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
No. Of course I can. No. No.
Next question.
No, not at all. Get out of here. Yeah. So I liked her a lot in the Oaks. She's a really nice filly. The problem with this particular filly facing the boys. Now, she faced the boys in the Arkansas Derby. She ran really well. She ran 3rd in that race, and she had legitimate trouble in that race. If you bet her, you were probably frustrated because she very easily could have won that race. Mm-hmm. What concerns me about her is some of the fillies that we've seen when they face the boys over the last that you can think of in recent memory, like Rachel Alexandra was one, Swiss Skydiver was one a few years ago who won the Preakness, and she beat the boys.
Yeah.
What they have that's a little bit different than Secret Oath, their running style, they're just a little bit faster early. They show more early speed. They're horses that are going to be either on the lead or sitting close. So they can kind of take it to you, and they're a little bit more dominant with just their style. Secret Oath is more of a closer. She's like a mid-pack runner to a closer. So not only is she going to need to improve a little bit on her speed figures, she's going to have to get a trip. Like, things are going to have to unfold pretty well for her, not get in traffic. And then she's going to have to pass all of the other really nice horses that might be getting the jump on her. And she's going to have to do that in a quick turnaround. She also just ran 2 weeks ago. She ran the day before all of these horses ran in the Kentucky Derby. So if she had an advantage, maybe because she didn't run in that race or she had a little bit more time, if there were more advantages for her coming into this race, then I would think so. But I'm actually a little concerned that she's going to be an underlay. She's 9 to 2 on the morning line. I wouldn't be shocked if she and early voting sort of flipped a little bit, or like Secret Oath ends up being like 3 to 1, and then maybe simplifications 5 and early voting's like 4. They're a little closer to each other, but I'm just a little bit worried with.
Do you think Secret Oath should be one of the, I'll use big 4 that you can toss?
Yeah. I mean, she can win this race. She's good enough to win the race, but I think she's too short of a price for what she should be in this spot with all of those factors that might be going against her. I honestly think she should probably be like 8 or 10 to 1 in this race. Yeah. And if she were, then I'd be a lot more interested in her. Like Swiss Skydiver, she floated way up in her race. A lot of people kind of got cold on her, and I think it might be the other way because this isn't the deepest Preakness, like we were saying. There are 4 or 5 horses that I think a lot of people aren't really going to worry about betting. So I feel like she's a filly. She faces the boys. A lot of times you just get that that excited money because people want to bet the girl against the boys. You know, it's a cool thing. It's a cool story. I'm worried she'll be shorter than what her actual chances of winning this race are.
Now, let's Happy Jack, Skippy Longstocking.
I can't get to Happy Jack.
Yeah.
Can't get there. Skippy, if you're playing a trifecta or a super, I wouldn't talk you off of throwing Skippy Longstocking underneath. The horse isn't if you're just looking at his last race, he was third behind Mo Donegal in early voting. And in the race, Mo Donegal went inside and Skippy Longstocking had to sort of move to the outside. And they just, he couldn't really move with that one. And he might have just lost to 2 horses that were a little bit better that day. But if they go fast early, he could pick up some pieces at a big price underneath. So I wouldn't talk you off using him in maybe 2, 3, and 4 spots, but I probably wouldn't have him to win or on a pick 4 or pick 5.
So he underneath in your supers and tries.
Yep.
Now it brings us to Epicenter. Now let's just go through. Someone brought this up to me, and I think it may have been a tweet that I read this. Imagine having the horse that finished second and the horse that beat him in the Derby was a last second replacement.
I know.
I mean, you just talk about just dude,
brutal.
That's brutal. I feel
I can tell you on my show, because when I recorded all my stuff for the Derby, he wasn't in the field, and it wasn't like he was a horse that people would have been excited to talk about if he were to get in the field. He did not get mentioned one time on any one of my shows, and on any show that I went on, I did not get asked about him one time. And so, and to be honest, had he run in this race, the reason I would have liked to see him in this race as a fan of racing. It's always cool. You want to see the Derby winner and the Preakness and stuff. But I was ready to line up to bet against him. He's going to take way more money than he should. Where if he shows up again, personally, I don't know if he's going to run again myself. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he ever runs again. So
I don't think he will. Just because
anytime if he runs again and doesn't run well, every time he runs, he becomes less valuable.
Yeah, this is going to be what his peak stud is.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't make sense for him to run again. Speaking of Dan, he just sent me a text message. Text message is this. Ask Gino if Rich Strike was on the juice.
See, I heard some people say that. The only thing is, this is a guy who's trained a lot of horses and run a lot of horses, and he doesn't win big races ever. So he saved the juice for that one time, that one day he got a win.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's
not like there's not a pattern of this being one of those types of guys. That's the thing, right? There have been
it just a freaky thing that happened.
It was, and the way the race was, it fell apart, right? If you watch his ride, he could have been like horse. That's what's hard about the Derby is that if you watch the ride, you can tell immediately he wasn't there. Everything went perfect for this horse. He was ducking in and out and moving here and there. Like that was just everything coming together. A fantastic ride from a horse. They went too fast. He moved through the opening. Epicenter moved a tad early. It was all just the perfect storm. And I mean, I don't, like I said, whatever Rich Strike were to be in this race, or if he does show up in the Belmont, it's going to be way shorter than what he could actually win that race at. So I was hoping he was going to be in here and be like, I don't know, 6 or 8 to 1. And I would have loved, he would have taken a good amount of money, and I definitely wouldn't have been using him elsewhere. Let's see, where are we down to? What early voting?
But at the end of the day, like you and I agree, like he's not.
No, he's not a good. He's not a top tier horse in this group of 3-year-olds yet. He was developing, and it was like right place, right time. You know, it was like we see this in
you tournaments. Don't think we're gonna see him ever again?
I'd be surprised if he ran at the Belmont. I would, because I don't think he becomes less and less valuable for a group of people who haven't had a whole lot of horses that are like this caliber ever. So this could be a really big opportunity for a horse like this to, for them to get for them to make a lot of money.
Now we're at the 6-5 favorite Epicenter. What with the distance of the Preakness and everything, do you think this kind of plays into his factor, or do you think he's at this price just because of he did finish second? Like, what do you think about this? Is this his race to lose?
He's the best 3-year-old so far this year. I mean, he's been all year long. He won he was second in the Lecomte. He won the Risen Star. He won the Louisiana Derby. He was second in the Kentucky Derby. If you would have asked me after the Louisiana Derby, when he won that, and then people sort of placed him, he's going to be one of the top few horses, no matter what, he's going to be in the top tier. I would have said of all of the Triple Crown races, I think he would be best suited and most likely to run really, really well in the Preakness. Just the way that his running style is, he's got speed, but he can sit off a little bit if he has to. He can pass horses. Preakness sometimes, like an early move is good. Like we saw what he was able to do in the Derby where he was about 5 or 6 lengths back, and then he kind of early moved to get right up into contention, and he's sort of push button. I think they can sort of have multiple gears with him where it's like, let's sit, let's ask him, let's move into this position, let's wait, let's ask him again and move into that position. A lot of horses aren't like that. And
he's special.
I think the Belmont might have been a little too far for him. Generally, the Preakness is the race for the best horse in the group to kind of prove that they're the best horse in the group, because it's not as big of a field and they're able to get out of trouble. And he should be either, I don't think he gets the lead in here. I think early voting goes to the lead. Armagnac will try to go to the lead. I don't know if he's even fast enough to get close to the top few, but he can't be in this race trying to close Armagnac. So Armagnac has to be in this race to be close. I'm projecting Epicenter to be sitting third behind those two, early voting, Armagnac, then Epicenter sitting third, and then maybe Simplification to the inside, like right there with him kind of. I think if I were riding Simplification, I would try to sit a little bit behind Epicenter and like move when he moves. Try to kind of play it, and like when he goes, try to go and go by him, kind of ride the race like looking at him.
Okay, which brings me to my next question for you. It wouldn't be the field versus Epicenter. The field at -131, Epicenter at even money.
That's good. That's a good one. The line's pretty accurate there, to be honest. I in situations like that, in a horse race, I'd still take the field always, because in any horse race, there are 10 different ways this horse could either run great and lose, or he couldn't get out of the gate. Something bad could happen right at the start. And then
something freaky could happen.
Something weird. You drop the jock. Like, there are just variables in horse racing that is one of the reasons why you don't want to always bet short prices. So in a situation like this, where it's the field against Epicenter, where he is no doubt the most likely winner of the race, I would still take the field, because too many things could happen to him where, like, maybe he gets caught up a little too fast because they think, hey, like, he's the best horse. Let's go put him right on the lead, or like, let's have him sit really close because we don't want him to get in trouble. And then maybe he battles 3 wide all the way, and just what happens in the Derby, someone comes late and just gets him, So I would still lean the field there.
Now, you're talking these two before. Based on what you said before, there is definitely value here. Secret Oath and early voting, both at -115. Juice.
Early voting for me. Yep.
Your Simplification, huge favorite here, -160 versus Creative Minister. No real value
I'd rather
there.
just play Simplification at 5 or 6 to 1 to win. Than in a matchup like that where you're laying money.
Skippy against
Armagnac. For sure. I like that one. Armagnac, Skippy I like, because Skippy will pass horses. Armagnac is going to I just can't envision a way he wins this race. He's not fast enough to get in front of the other fast horses, and he's not going to pass and close with the better closer. So I don't see it for him. If it happens, it's going to be a way that I can't envision.
It'll be a freaky thing, kind of
Yeah.
like what happened with Rich Strike.
Yeah.
Happy Jack plus 108 against Skippy minus 140.
I mean, I'd like Skippy there.
But I wouldn't
I
play
probably
at that
wouldn't
price.
lean.
So
Nah,
yeah.
I wouldn't want to lean that. I mean, I'd lean Skippy, but it's just it's about right where it should be. It doesn't seem like there's any value there.
Fenric plus 113, Happy Jack minus 145.
Yeah, I mean, I'd steal clear of that one. Those two horses could both be way out of it. Yeah.
You probably see value here.
Yeah.
Simplification
Absolutely.
plus 117, Secret Oath minus 150.
That's the one I would dive into the most because
this would be the one you like the best. This would be the one to hammer.
Because the thing about Simplification is he may not be as good as Epicenter. He might not. He might just be a cut below him, but he is really honest. He is going to show up. He's going to battle. He's had to deal with trouble. He's shown that he can run and run well in different ways. And that's the type of horse that I want right now. I think he is one of the, top 5 to 6 horses in this group of 3-year-olds right now. And this feels like a great spot for Simplification. And I'm a little cold on Secret Oath. So yeah, I like that one. Definitely.
Simplification at another price plus 125 against
voting. I don't mind this one, but I like the Secret Oath one more because I'm just cooler on Secret Oath. And I can see early voting winning this race. So that one I don't like as much as I prefer the plus 117, which is just slightly less against a horse that I like a lot less, like Secret Oath.
Creative Minister minus 165, Armanic plus 129.
I mean, I don't need to lay that much, but definitely I wouldn't be on the Armanic side. I'd lean more Creative Minister. I wouldn't lay the 250 with early voting. I mean, these two horses could be like there are versions of this race where they're up front in the top 2 or 3 battling it out. Yeah. So I don't.
Yeah, because this is the last one. Epicenter minus 250, early voting plus 197. So
Secret Oath, that one's
based on what you said. That is the one that the people listening or watching right now. That's the one you need to be hammering is the Simplification over the
Secret Oath matchup.
Secret Oath. Gino, thanks for coming on. I mean, this is
happy to do it, buddy.
I mean, dude, like,
anytime.
You had golf today, NBA, probably a million horse streaming. Yeah. Plus, you're on Louisiana now.
These are fun days. Yeah. Today, I think I did basketball. We did some basketball in the morning, golf. As you mentioned, Louisiana, Preakness stuff for Pimlico Friday and for Saturday. And getting into the Louisiana stuff Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'm the voice that you hear before and after each race. So I give some of my analysis. I talk about what the board looks like, who's a good bet, why we should play them. And then after the race, I talk about horses to maybe to play back next time. Some horses that got in trouble, look ahead stuff. So a lot of fun, doing really, really well out there. And it's always grass and dirt racing, usually just 7 races on the card and pretty quick in between. So if you ever need a little help and you're looking for a track to play, you can follow me on social media. I usually post videos there with all my plays throughout the day, or you can just turn on the track feed for LAD and you'll see me sitting on the couch right here.
And pretty soon you're going to be on TikTok. You're going to be doing Instagram live stuff.
I know. We're all over the place.
Pretty soon you're going to be over there. So make sure you give Gino a follow at Gino B on Twitter.
It's me, Gino B. Yep.
That's it on Twitter. And then Instagram, you are
at G Buccola. Yep.
Yeah,
at G Buccola. That's what G said podcast. Anywhere you download. Eric's on with me every week talking basketball, football, whatever's important going on in sports. And only a few more weeks of basketball left now.
I know. It's creeping up, but we have the NFL coming up. So, there's money being made. Thanks for coming on, my man. We will talk tomorrow because your podcast comes out on Friday morning, right?
Yep. We'll talk NBA. We'll be able to look at what went on with game 1 of both of the series and maybe how we want to attack game 2 of both the Eastern and Western Conference Finals.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I definitely see some future value.
Yep.
I will talk to you soon, my friend.